The screen flashes, a cascade of hateful comments. Notifications pile up relentless, a constant barrage of digital blows. You feel a knot in your stomach, a chill down your spine. For a young person growing up online, this isn't just a bad day. It's a constant, inescapable reality. How does online bullying, from insidious trolls to relentless cyber attacks, impact Gen Z differently than the generations that came before, and what can we as a society do about it? The digital world promised connection, but often delivers pain. Welcome to Trolls and Bullying, Growing Up Online Gen Z versus Millennials. If you've ever felt the sting of online negativity hit like, if you're ready to understand this pervasive issue and build a kinder internet, definitely subscribe. We're in this together. The digital battlefield defining cyberbullying and trolling. To truly understand the generational divide, we must first define the weapons. The terms cyberbullying and trolling are often used interchangeably, but they describe distinct forms of digital aggression with different motivations. Cyberbullying is formally defined as an aggressive intentional act or behavior that is carried out by a group or an individual using electronic forms of contact repeatedly and over time against a victim who cannot easily defend him or herself. The key elements are intent to harm, repetition, and a power imbalance. It's targeted, personal, and designed to inflict sustained psychological damage. Trolling, in contrast, is an antisocial behavior characterized by posting inflammatory or controversial comments with the primary goal of provoking an emotional reaction or disrupting a conversation. The classic troll is often indifferent to their specific target. Their gratification comes from the chaos they generate. So what fuels this hostility? Cyberpsychologists point to the online disinhibition effect, a term coined by Dr. John Suler. This theory explains how the unique conditions of the internet lower the psychological barriers that normally restrain our behavior. Factors like dissociative anonymity, where users feel their online actions are separate from their real-world identity, and invisibility. The lack of face-to-face cues reduce personal accountability and empathy. This is compounded by the architecture of modern platforms. Social media algorithms are designed to maximize engagement, and emotionally provocative content, including outrage and hate, generates exceptionally high levels of it. In its pursuit of profit, the platform becomes the troll's most powerful accomplice, providing a global megaphone for their cruelty. For Gen Z, the generation that grew up entirely online, bullying doesn't end when they leave school. It follows them home into their pockets 24/7. Their experience is defined by highly visual, algorithm-driven platforms like Instagram and TikTok, where attacks take the form of viral shaming campaigns, relentless body shaming, and doxing, the malicious act of publishing someone's private information like their address or phone number. The threat isn't just an intrusion into their digital space, it's the weaponization of the entire network against them. A 2022 Pew Research Center survey found that nearly half of U.S. teens have experienced some form of cyberbullying. Millennials, in contrast, were digital immigrants. They encountered bullying primarily offline in the schoolyard. Their early internet experiences were on platforms like AIM, MySpace, and forums, where aggression was often an extension of school conflicts, but could be escaped by turning off the desktop computer. Home was a sanctuary. As adults, the online harassment they face often shifts to different arenas, such as workplace cyberbullying through aggressive emails or malicious rumors on professional networks, or intense political polarization on platforms like Facebook. This fundamental difference between bullying as a discrete event and bullying as a pervasive, inescapable environment creates unique psychological pressures that define the generational experience. The invisible wounds, mental health impacts across generations. The scars of online aggression are invisible, but they are deep, and they have precipitated a genuine public health crisis. The relentless, permanent, and often anonymous nature of cyberbullying creates a unique form of psychological distress that can be more damaging than traditional bullying. For Gen Z, the impact is particularly severe. This generation reports higher rates of mental health concerns than any before them, a trend inextricably linked to their immersion in the always-on digital world. A vast body of research confirms a strong link between cyberbullying and depression, anxiety, loneliness, and suicidal ideation. One recent study found that adolescent victims of cyberbullying had 1.64 times the odds of experiencing depression and 2.49 times the odds of experiencing anxiety compared to their non-bullied peers. The pressure to perform online is immense. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok function as powerful engines of social comparison, presenting a constant stream of curated, unrealistic images that fuel feelings of inadequacy. The CyberSmile Foundation's 2023 Comparison Culture Report found that 93% of Gen Z felt pressured to compare themselves to others online, and a shocking 74% said social media had made them want to permanently change their body through surgery. This has led to a documented link between cyberbullying and eating disorder symptoms. While millennials are not immune, their mental health struggles linked to social media often stem from different pressures encountered later in life. Their formative years were less defined by direct, pervasive online bullying. Instead, their challenges might arise from the constant social comparison on filtered Instagram feeds, the intense political polarization that came to dominate Facebook, or the rise of workplace cyberbullying. A 2021 study found that 66% of employees have personally been victims of workplace bullying, with common tactics, including being regularly undermined or becoming the victim of malicious rumors. The data paints an undeniable picture. For Gen Z, the digital world has been a source of chronic environmental stress during their most vulnerable developmental years. For millennials, it often became a new and complex challenge of adulthood. This distinction is critical. It highlights the urgent need for mental health support adapted to the digital age, a system that recognizes these invisible wounds are real, damaging, and demand our immediate attention and care. We've delved into the deep impacts of online aggression. If you've ever been a target, know you're not alone. If you've witnessed it, remember your power to speak up. How do you think we can best fight online trolls? Drop A for protection or A for speaking out in the comments. Let's make this a space for solutions, not just problems. Anonymized story, a victim's journey through the digital storm. Statistics tell us the scale of the problem, but they can't capture the human cost. To understand the impact, let's follow the journey of a victim. This is a composite story built from countless real accounts and carefully anonymized to protect identities. Let's call them Alex. Alex is 16 and loves posting creative videos on TikTok. One night they post a lighthearted video and go to sleep. They wake up to a nightmare. Their phone is buzzing uncontrollably. The video has gone viral, but for all the wrong reasons. It started with one cruel comment from an anonymous account. Fueled by the platform's algorithm, that comment rose to the top, acting as a spark. What followed was a pile-on of staggering proportions. Thousands of strangers flooded the comments, mocking Alex's appearance, their clothes, and their voice. The harassment quickly evolved. Other users created stitch and duet videos, turning Alex's moment of expression into a global meme for ridicule. The attack wasn't contained to TikTok. Screenshots spread to Instagram, where Alex's direct messages were filled with hateful messages and threats. Someone found an old family photo on a relative's public profile and turned it into a humiliating meme. The next day at school was unbearable. Alex could hear whispers and see people pointing at their phones and laughing. The feeling of public shaming was absolute and inescapable. The final blow came when a user on a fringe forum doxed them, posting their full name and general location. Every notification now sent a jolt of panic through their body. Sleep became impossible. Alex felt shock, then shame, then a profound isolation. They deleted the video and their account, but the damage was done. The content was already saved and re-uploaded by others, a permanent digital scar. The path forward began only when Alex, in a moment of desperation, confided in an older cousin. Together, they found resources from organizations like the CyberSmile Foundation and Australia's e-Safety Commissioner. They learned how to report the doxing and the re-uploaded videos. The process was slow and emotionally draining. Healing wasn't about winning against the trolls. It was about the difficult, ongoing work of reclaiming their mental space through therapy, a prolonged digital detox, and slowly rebuilding their confidence by connecting with smaller, supportive online communities far from the unforgiving glare of the main feed. Alex's story highlights the devastating consequences behind the screen and the immense courage it takes to overcome them. Building a better internet: collective responsibility and action. Facing such a systemic problem, individual solutions are not enough. Telling a victim to just log off is both unfair and ineffective, especially for a generation whose social lives are so deeply integrated with the digital world. A more robust solution requires a paradigm shift toward collective responsibility. This starts with the audience. In any bullying scenario, bystanders play a critical role. Online, however, the bystander effect is magnified. When hundreds of people witness an attack, the diffusion of responsibility makes each individual feel less pressure to intervene. Research shows that while nearly 70% of witnesses are aware they're seeing cyberbullying, only 10% directly intervene. We must transform passive bystanders into active upstanders. This doesn't require confrontation. It can be as simple as reporting the abusive content, posting a supportive comment for the victim, or sending a private message to let them know they aren't alone. A single supportive message can counteract a flood of negativity. Tech platforms bear a significant responsibility as the architects of these spaces. Their algorithms must not prioritize toxic engagement over human safety. Initiatives like Instagram's School Partnership Program, which prioritizes reports from educators, are a positive step, but more is needed. Ethical design, transparent algorithms, and robust safety tools must become the industry standard. Finally, community and education are essential. Organizations like the Anti-Bullying Alliance and the CyberSmile Foundation provide free comprehensive curricula on digital civility, kindness, and empathy that can be used by educators and parents. Government resources like stopbullying.gov offer toolkits for creating safe school environments and clear guidance for adults on how to respond effectively. By fostering digital citizenship and providing a strong ecosystem of support, we can empower every user to help build a better, more humane internet. This is a shared effort demanding conscious action from every one of us. Conclusion and recap. The digital world is a reflection of our society, flaws and all. Online bullying and trolling are not just internet drama. They leave real scars, particularly for a generation that grew up within the feed. The 24/7 nature of digital aggression means its impact can be relentless, affecting mental health, self-esteem, and safety. From the contained forums of the millennial youth to the viral, always-on platforms that define the Gen Z experience, the architecture of online harm has evolved, becoming more pervasive and more potent. But we are not powerless. Every click, every comment, every share can either amplify harm or build empathy. From turning off notifications to speaking out, from nurturing positive online spaces to educating ourselves, we all have a role to play. Let's make the internet a place where connection truly trumps cruelty and where every generation feels safe to be themselves.